Hi everyone, Chris Anderson with Mount Comfort RV. Well, we're here to give you another awesome motorhome review. Not that the review is awesome, but the motorhome is awesome. So today we're going to do a 2020, this is a pre-owned coach that we just got in. This is a 2020 New Aire, Nucleaire, we'll come back to that. And this is a model 3543. So this will have the bigger engine, it's the king size bed, 450 horsepower engine, all that good stuff, and we're just getting started on the good stuff. So if you like this video and you're interested in this coach, because it is currently for sale, please don't forget the #1 rule. Ask for me when you call in or email in or whatever, and I will make sure that we get you the information you need to make a great decision. All right, having said that, let's take a look at the future. When I say take a look at the future, generators are probably in the next handful of years going to be somewhat phased out in the RV industry. I think the handwriting's on the wall that more and more electric battery options are going to be coming more the mainstream. Not to say that there won't always be a place for a generator out there, but technology exists now that we don't necessarily have to have a generator in a motorhome. The problem has always been price for these options. So let's take a look at what you can do if you really set your mind to it. We're standing on top of a roof of an adjacent motorhome because there's no real estate left on top of this New Aire. It has been entirely covered with solar panels. So this is a view that we can't really get from the ground, so I wanted to start this video up here to show you. I think there's 11 panels up there is what we can, this says 9 back there. No, there's more than that, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 panels up there. I believe it's 2,600 watts, give or take, is what I was told for this. So these ones up front do tilt upwards so that you can service the air conditioners if need be. Things like antennas were relocated to the extra space up front there so that you could use as much of this coach for solar as humanly possible. So this is the first upgrade that was done, was all of this solar. Let's go show you some more upgrades. Okay, we're back down to earth now, so I'm going to take you compartment by compartment around the outside of this motorhome. Normally we start on the inside. This is definitely going to be more about the upgrades that are done to this motorhome, so we're going to start on the outside today and go compartment by compartment, show you what there is to see. Now this first compartment is the freezer compartment, and there's really no changes done in here. This is your pull-out freezer refrigerator that came from the factory, and like I said, that's really pretty stock stuff right there. Nothing too exciting there. This is where it starts to get interesting. Inside here, let's get a good shot at that. You're going to see 2 huge lithium batteries. Those are from Lithionics, which are one of the best name brands you can do in batteries, battery technology today. Those are 2 315 amp hour 48 volt batteries. Yes, I said 48 volt. I know what you're thinking, Chris, RVs run off 12 volts. What's with the 48? Well, it's a lot more efficient when you're using inverters to run everything to go from 48 volts to 120 volts than it is to come all the way from 12 volts to 120 volts. So this system and the charging system that goes with it is all at 48 volts. And then when we need to, there's a converter that steps it back down to 12 volts to run the RV side of things. But when we're talking about running the coach off of inverters, this is a very necessary way to do this for the most efficiency. That other little black box you see down in there, that's actually a heater that is controlled automatically. There's no switches to flip or anything else, but lithium batteries don't like to charge when they're super cold, so that automatically comes on and heats it as needed. In our next 2 compartments, you're going to see several things. Now back in here on the wall, the front wall of this, you kind of see those 2 blue dots, those glowing LEDs in there. What are those? Well, those are 2 external BMS systems, BMS, battery management system. So that is what actually controls. There's one for each of those 2 big lithium batteries that we showed you. That's actually the controller for those, and they're professionally mounted in there on the wall, nice clean install. Then you see some other boxes here on these storage trays, and there's all kinds of goodies in here. I'm not going to go too far into the weeds on this, but these are all the items that a person might need, from spare parts like belts and filters and stuff like that to this big box here has custom-made lamb's wool seat covers that have never been put on. By the time they came in, the previous owner had decided he was going to sell the coach, so he left those for you, but they're custom-made. And when I say custom-made, I mean there's CAD measurements inside the owner's manuals in there that show the exact dimensions these needed to be to fit the seats. These aren't something you bought at AutoZone. These are certainly custom-made for this coach. There's a spot in here for a collapsible awning to be in here. There's a complete extra carpet for the front of the coach. I'll show you that. It's a removable floor mat, if you will. There's a magnet shade. A magnet shade's a magnetic shade for the front windshield that's never been on the coach before. That's in the boxes here. And then even a little touch here. I'll show you right up front here. Sorry, I'm throwing Troy curveballs here. This little kick plate here needed to be replaced. It got scratched up, so they come in sets of 2. So there's a spare kick plate there. So over time, if that gets nicked up or scratched up again, you have a spare one. That's all the types of items that are in these 2 compartments here. Okay, so the next compartments don't have any changes, but we're also showing you the way this coach comes from the factory. So this is a nice storage compartment here, all carpeted and lined and insulated, all that good stuff. And you've got anything from 120 volt outlets in there. Your controllers for your Girard awnings are in here. Some other electronics, obviously, slide controllers, that type of thing. That's all in this compartment, but it's also a good lighted, insulated, carpeted storage compartment. Moving on back, you can kind of see, yeah, here's how prepared the previous owner was. You know, it's good to have these things. If you're on the road and you break a belt, you don't want to wait for a couple of days for a belt to come in. It's a good thing to have some spares of. That's the type of thing I'm talking about when I said there's boxes of spare components and everything for this coach. It's ready to go. This coach is absolutely ready to go. The previous owner, before bringing it down to us, it stopped at Newmar and got all the fluids changed, a couple little repairs that needed done. Newmar went all the way through it, made sure it was right from one end to the other. When I say this coach is ready to go, this coach is ready to go. All right, next we have a new little box back here in this compartment. Now, this is all stock back here. These are our chassis batteries, our chassis disconnect switch, some tire chocks. But this little guy right here, that did not come from Newmar. All right, what is it? Well, that is a Victron charger. Why do you need a Victron charger back here? Well, it's to charge these chassis batteries, and you say, well, that should have been charged from the factory. Well, it was, except the 3,000 watt inverter charger that came in this coach has been removed when this coach was converted to 48 volts. So that system all went away. So this part of it charges the chassis batteries whenever the coach is plugged in or whenever the generator is running, if you do decide to run the generator. So those are automatically maintained, and it's a smart charger. It won't overcharge or cook the batteries or anything like that. All right, everybody knows I'm a diesel nerd, so I get excited about diesel engines anyway, but there's extra reason to be excited here. So as we peek back in here, everything looks pretty stock in here. And for the most part it is, except for a couple of extra goodies we have here. This being the first one. This is your alternator. Now you still have the alternator that came from Cummins and Freightliner on this coach, and it still has its entire 12 volt charging system that charges the chassis batteries whenever the engine's running. But to go to 48 volts most effectively, they added a 48 volt alternator back here. That's with that big blue wire coming out of it. This coach is completely color coded, all the extra wiring that they did. Blue is 48 volts, so those have a little extra bite in them. Be careful what you touch. So also, if you lock yourself out, if you buy this coach, we'll give you the code that gets you into the master lock and gets you your spare keys out of the spare key holder. That's a nice, I told you this coach is ready to go. And also, even though it didn't come from the factory like this, Air Force One braking has been added to this, so your Toad can be can have the Air Force One system added to it, so that it's air proportional braking whenever you're going down the road. Okay, so we have a couple of compartments here in a row that no real changes have been made, but again, I still want to show them. This is your DEF compartment. That's your diesel exhaust fluid. That's part of the after treatment that diesel engines use today. That's where you would fill that. Then we come back into the wet bay. So the wet bay, this is pretty much how it came from the factory. This has everything from a whole house water filtration system, a power hose reel. It does have a macerator on it as well, so you can either do a traditional gravity dump at a dump station, or if you need to dump it over a further distance, you do have the macerator here, and you can stretch that out a considerable distance. You have hot and cold water, black and gray tank flush. That's all in this compartment. Everything's very well labeled. This is also a heated compartment. Whenever the Oasis system is on to heat this coach, there's definitely heat in this area, which makes this a true four-season coach. Next, we have the Oasis system. Now the Oasis system is a diesel or electric fired hydronic heating system. That is your primary heating system for the coach, although it's not your only heating system for the coach. And it does heat all of your hot water. The beautiful part about this system is it is unlimited hot water. If you want to take a 40-minute shower and you've got the water to do so, you certainly can do that. So it's also what makes this coach capable of being an all-electric coach, which it is. This cord reel has been changed out to a longer one. I think it comes from the factory with a 34-foot cord reel. This is now a 50-foot cord reel, and we have our central vac system in this compartment as well. Okay, so we were on the roof, so we thought we'd spend some time on the floor as well while we're here, but I really want to get everything that has been done to this coach. First of all, it gives you an idea of how professional of a job this is. Look at the way all the wire looms are tied up. Again, everything is color-coded in here and just very professionally done. This conversion was done at MasterTech in Elkhart, Indiana. They are the professionals at doing this. They've done multiple coaches this way. This is where people go to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to convert their coach to solar energy and lithium energy. And 48-volt chargers, that type of thing. What we're looking at here, this is going to be part of the power distribution system, but it's also the controllers for the solar system. These are the two solar controllers for this. So these are solar controllers, these are power distribution boxes up here, and then this is going to be a tricky shot to get up here on the ceiling. This is our converter that will convert this coach back down to 12 volts where needed. On the other side of the coach, we showed you the BMS battery management systems. Here's the readouts for the battery management systems right here. It tells you how much voltage is in those batteries at any given time. And next to that, that's a nice little storage compartment for our sewer hose. Now from the factory, this was our battery compartment. There was a pull-out battery tray and everything in here, but of course, things have changed a little bit on this coach, so let's talk about what's in here now. We're going to start with this big black box right here on the right-hand side with the watchdog on it. That's actually a surge protector. So there are two surge protectors on this coach. The first one is at the transfer switch, and that's built into the coach. That came from the factory. But it's also good to have a secondary one because if you lose a surge protector, it can shut down the entire coach. So to have a secondary one in line that is actually the sacrificial lamb makes all the sense in the world, and that's what we have here. Next to that, this is something some of you electronic geeks watching this, and I say geeks with all affection, watching this video may already know what this is. This has been an up-and-comer in the high-end RV industry for a while. It's called a Hughes Autoformer. And what it does is we all worry about surges and surge protection and lightning strikes and overpowering our coaches, but nobody gives a lot of thought to underpowering our coaches, which can be just as harmful to electronics, if not more so, than overpowering them. So what this Hughes Autoformer does is it actually makes sure that the power coming into your coach is up to the proper voltage that it should be for the coach, and if it's not, it puts it there. So it's great clean power from the Hughes Autoformer. Sounds like a commercial. I need to be getting a cut from Hughes. All right, next, what do we see back here? Well, that looks like a battery. It is a battery. So basically the function of this battery, it's one lithium-ion battery in its own heated blanket that again is electronically controlled. It does it itself. And it really just exists. It's our last 12-volt battery on the house side. Mostly, more than anything else, it starts the generator. When we need to do that, we still needed a good kick of amps there to do that, and so they put this in just for that purpose. But again, it's a lithium-ion, self-maintaining, easy peasy. Okay, so next, most of this is factory. This is all Freightliner stuff in here, fuses and accessories for the chassis. But there are a couple of additions in here that may not be so obvious. Number one, we have a little control box over here, and that is for the Boogie Lights. We'll show you those in a minute. But my favorite is the oops, I locked myself out of my coach device that's in here. So you can't really see it. We don't need to get a shot of it, but let's stand up here and might pan back just a little bit. Let me put my hand down. There it is. Okay, so look at that. I can, inside this compartment that is a lockable compartment, I can actually control that window. Well, why would you need to do that? Well, every now and then a lock on an RV door will actually get jammed. It has happened. I've had customers call me and they're locked out of their coach and they didn't physically, they've got their keys, everything's jammed up, can't do it. In a real emergency, you find a kid to shove through a window and put yourself a great backup plan in. I love that feature. It's one of those that, again, you hope you never need, but if you do, that's great. Now, what are Boogie Lights? Well, let's stand back and look. It's really bright in here, so we're going to come back in here, maybe into the shadows a little bit. There's a controller inside that controls these. In fact, it's Bluetooth capable if you want to do it from your phone. You can make these in any color you want. You can make them strobe, make them dance, but there's lights all on the underneath side of this coach. At night, it would be a much better demonstration than it is at a very bright showroom, but I think you get the idea. Those are the Boogie Lights that have been added to the coach. Okay, welcome to the inside of our 2020 Newmar New Aire, and I wanted to take a minute to go over some things I kind of forgot on the outside. Number one, it does still have its generator. The generator's in the nose. It's an 8 kW generator with very low hours on it for obvious reasons, so that is still there for those of you who still want to have that. I just don't think you're going to need it for most people on this coach the way this has been done. Pricing, this coach is for sale. This coach had an original MSRP of $487,445. It has 10,000 miles on it, and we are selling this coach for $399,995. All right, give me a call if you're interested. Let's go over some other features on here. Up front, we just have some extra replacements, components and cords up here. This is for the Garmin. It does have, the Garmin is actually a camera. It's hard to see, but it does have a drive camera up there that actually has some lane departure warnings in it as well. So a nice little dash cam. Up top, you have a brake control mounted to the top of this coach as well for anything with electronic brakes. All right. Now, we have our Wi-Fi Ranger up here that does have cellular capabilities. This also has a cradle point, which is what the cord hanging out here is for. A cradle point is a different type of Wi-Fi router. The gentleman that had this coach was, being on the internet was very important to him, so he wanted to give himself multiple avenues to do that. They can work together or can be used individually with different cellular companies to get you online if reliable Wi-Fi is not available. All right, so that's what's in there. This, it first looks mostly factory, but of course there were a few things in here that caught my eye, and if you're schooled on Newmar coaches, there's some things that just don't quite belong here. So along with awning controls and blind controls and slide out controls that we're used to seeing in our wine guard antenna, it's this stuff over here that doesn't really belong. So what is it? Well, this first one controls the Boogie Lights on the outside that we talked about. That's how you put your different scenes and everything you can have going on for your decorative lighting. The other three are 3 blue dots. Well, the blue is actually an indicator of good health. On our batteries, I showed you 3 batteries on the outside of this coach for the house. The 2 monster red ones those are the indicators for those. And then the little 12-volt guy to start the generator, that's the indicator for that. Like I said, the blue means good, red would be bad. I mean, they're in a discharge state for whatever reason. These are also disconnects, but with all the electronics on this coach and all the solar and the different ways of charging it, you don't want to disconnect this. Leave it on. Let it do its thing. All right. This is left factory. All right. Over here, same thing. Those compartments are left as they were from the factory, like any other 2020 New Aire coach. So, driver passenger seat. This does look like it's the wider passenger seat. They call that the buddy seat. So a lot of people have a little dog or something they want to have sitting with them up there. That's ready to go. We have beautiful tile. There is no carpet in this coach. I am standing on a Newmar floor mat that's custom made. This is what there is a spare one, brand new one of these out in the outside compartment. So if this one gets a little soiled, while you send it off to get it cleaned, you have a spare to drop down in here. This is an electrically heated floor that came from the factory like that. I left them on over the weekend. I walked in this coach. It was like 85 degrees in here earlier today. It's still a little warm. You can actually heat the coach. If it's not too bitter cold outside, you can heat the coach with the electric floor heat. So not only is it nice and pleasant to put your feet on, it's a silent way of heating your coach. So I mentioned outside that the Oasis system isn't the only way of heating this coach. A secondary way is definitely through the heated floor. A third way would be through the heat pumps that are built into the 2 roof air conditioners on this coach. So if you're plugged in, well, or in this coach, you don't even really have to be plugged in or having the generator running. So skip that part. You can do it off the batteries. You can actually run both air conditioners from the lithium batteries for extended periods of time. Now, extended periods of time, what does that mean? Well, let's give you some real world answers, because I asked the previous owner, you know, how long can you go with no solar input, no alternator input, not being plugged in? What can we do? He said, well, we drove for a while, we pulled off into a parking lot, and we slept all night, 8-10 hours, whatever. No solar input because it was at night, so solar's not going to help you at night, obviously. And so this was just from the batteries. They ran both air conditioners all night, got up the next morning, we're still at 20%. 8 a.m. they jump back on the road, start driving. Okay, still air conditioners running, generator not running. By noon that day, not only were the air conditioners still going strong, but it had actually charged up the batteries back up to a full state. They went from 20% back up to a full state by noon the next day. Now that would have had some solar input coming in too, but it did not have the generator running and you weren't plugged in. So the cool thing about this coach is running down the road even at night, you're not running at a deficit. Even running the air conditioners and most of the other electronics in this coach, you're not going to be running at a deficit. You'll get where you're going and still be 100%, which is very cool. Now, what all is tied to those new inverters? There's 2 new inverters on this coach that control this. What all is tied to those? Well, basically, pretty much everything except things that heat. Okay, so like the dryer, the heated floor, those are not tied into to those inverters, but those really aren't the type of things that you usually need going down the road. Anyway, the big thing is the air conditioners. So this coach is virtually silent going down the road because the generator's not on, the engine's in the back, and it's just smooth sailing. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the coach itself. This has the hide-a-bed option in it under the sofa here, so you can fold that out to sleep 2 people. It does have across from that the Euro dinette with the televator behind it. So there's going to be a television that pops up in front of that window when we want to. Let's talk a little about the previous owner of this coach. To say he was meticulous, and I know he'll watch this video, to say he was meticulous is an understatement. He has traded coaches with me a couple of times, and I love getting his trade-ins because this is the type of organization we're talking about. This stuff all comes from Newmar in a bag of owner's manuals and remote controls, and it's sort of kind of organized, but not really. This is very much organized. I have receipts on my desk from MasterTech that did this. The upgrades that we're talking about here are to the tune of $147,000 worth of upgrades that have been done to this. So is this the cheapest used New Aire you can purchase? Probably not. I don't doubt that. But you're getting this at a heavy, heavy discount compared to what he had invested in this coach, and even figuring in some depreciation here. He never expected to get the entire $147,000 back. He's more about pushing the envelope and seeing what can be done with current electronics, and then passing it on and starting on his next project, which in a couple of years I'm sure you'll see what his next project was. But this coach has the Eurobooth, as we talked about, the TV there. There's all your files and everything, all very well organized. Extra stuff, there's the Freightliner book. This coach has been to Freightliner. He took the Freightliner class that they do down there, so he knew everything he needed to know about his chassis. All that good stuff from Camp Freightliner's in here, so lots of extras. Oh, there's the Versa control for the Boogie Lights that we talked about, and like I said, that's Bluetoothable to your phone. All the fun electronics you see there. Bose soundbar is from the factory up top, as well as the Blu-ray player. So this coach does have a satellite dish on it. Let me see, this is the mobile satellite dish that's on it, so it will work with DirecTV or Dish Network, either one. We just have to program it whichever way you want it there. So that's already on the coach from the factory. Okay, this is just storage up here. All of these compartments are all lined. Everything's very clean in this coach. All right, moving on. I didn't show the storage above the sofa. Let's make sure we demonstrate what's there. I like this because this is all one compartment. So if you have longer items, they fit nicely in here. Okay. All of these doors stand up on the little metal door strut. You don't have to be a one-arm loader. They hold themselves up. The blinds that are in here are the day and night shades. This is a day shade that you see here, and it is electric to raise these up and down. It's just a press of a button. At night, they have the full blackout shades like you see in the cockpit of the coach that you can get complete privacy by doing a complete blackout on here. All right, so I think we've covered most everything back to here. Let's Take a look at the pantry with adjustable shelves. This is one of the pantries. You know, the idea of the New Aire is to be a true luxury coach in a small footprint. We're a 35-foot footprint here. We're a little over 12 feet tall. We are 35 feet 10 inches long. You know, most coaches that have anywhere near this trim level, they're 40, 45 feet long. That's not the case here. This has the storage of one of those 40 or 45 foot coaches on the outside, but it has the amenities of a really high-end bus. We always say it's a baby King Air is what it really is, and that's what we're looking at here. All right, so we'll get into the kitchen. Let's start up top. Okay, great storage with a nice pull-out. 30-inch convection microwave. Looks like it's never been used. He did tell me they focused on trying to do all of the cooking outdoors. Okay. All right, let me toss this down. We have an undermount stainless sink here. All right, this is pretty cool. This is one of those touch faucets. Now, the original faucet is out there in a box underneath in case you didn't like it, but the customers had a touch faucet in their home. They liked the touch faucet that's in their home, so they put one in the coach as well. So pretty cool feature there. This is the undermount induction cooktop, and this was used, but it was used outdoors. All right, and then let's take a look at some of the lower cabinetry we have here. Okay, trash can spot there. That little black box down there, that's the battery pack for the touch faucet. Okay, all kinds of goodies in here, from remote controls, little lights. Okay. Good storage all the way down through here, and then 3 bigger drawers here. This one has the nice partitions in it for the silverware. All right, so great kitchen storage. Come back to the Samsung residential refrigerator. That's locked. There we go. With the pull-out freezer and ice maker below. And lastly, the other pantry. And these are the soft close drawers. Oh, those are not soft close. I lied. All right, but they are adjustable and they are very well lit. Okay, let's take a look at the bathroom. Bathroom in a New Aire features a great size shower. I think it's 30 by 42 inches if memory serves. I'm shooting that from memory, so don't crucify me if I got that wrong. We have a sit-down seat here. I love the River Rock floor in here. You've got a handheld and a rain shower head as well. Like I said, big thing here is there's actually enough room. Good room around the toilet, and you even have an emergency escape door here instead of just having an egress window, which this does have. An escape door with a ladder that telescopes out of the bottom of it is even a better idea. And then we have storage here. Where's it at? There we go. Here. Okay, and down below storage. So, as we go through this coach, notice a lot of this stuff, for those of you that know a New Aire well, mostly what we see on the inside, this coach doesn't look really altered. In fact, it's not very altered on the inside. The alterations that have been made are very well hidden, very professionally done. We'll come back to a little bit of that in a minute. Let's go to the bedroom. I was going to make up this bed, but I decided not to. Number one, I want to show the mattress is very clean. It looks like it's barely been slept on. The bedding and the pillows, they always do this. They were taken from day one and vacuum sealed, so they flavor sealed those the day they got it. So that's all. Those are all literally brand new. There is storage under the bed. Okay, and again, that's really left unaltered. Those are the 2 leaves for the Euro dinette, and you also have the tools for the central vac. Nice part about a New Aire is it does have great storage even in the bedroom. So up above, okay, here's everything. Another Blu-ray player back here. Looks like a Dish Network box is left in there, so that's going to go to the new owner as well. Looky here, that's a whole robe hook. I don't think that's factory. That's been added. Okay, so we have 6 drawers in here like this one. So great storage that way. And then you still have the full rear closet back here. All right. There's your two ottomans. Those are storage ottomans that go in front of the sofa. There's a safe back there. There are the two chairs when the dinette is extended. We also have a shoe cubby back here. Previous customer showed me that they had to relocate it out of this cabinet because there are two separate boxes here and here. I'll let you get a shot of that. Those are your little sub boxes for the inverters. That's everything that's on the inverter comes through those two panels right there. You still have your main circuit breaker panel here, but these two boxes, they needed to add one, so that's what they did. But everything looks, you wouldn't know if you didn't know a New Aire well, you really wouldn't know that that's not factory, because it looks very much like what Newmar does. We do have the stackable washer dryer in here as well. So we've been all the way through this coach and it really doesn't look much different, but there's one place that it will. We walked right past it, right here in the hallway. So we're used to coming in and we see this silver leaf panel that you have here. Now MasterTech, before I knew them for being a great solar and lithium company, they were actually known to me as being the company that if you had problems that maybe even Newmar was having trouble figuring out with programming and such in relation to Silverleaf, that they were the go-to company for that. And so this entire coach has been tied together with the Silverleaf system seamlessly. So that's a beautiful part here. So all of this works as it used to. You know, they changed some little things, like the chassis battery says 13.2 volts. Normally it would say house battery at 13.2 volts or something along that, but it doesn't, because it's actually running the house battery at a percentage, because lithium batteries actually maintain their voltage even as they discharge, so they could be down to 20%. It's still going to be at 48 volts on there, but this is telling you how much battery life you have left. And we're at 93% and 87%. We're not getting any sunshine in the showroom. It's the big issue there. Look at this box up above. This was put in by MasterTech. Those are controllers for everything that's been added through here. For the pass-through inverters that you see on there, they're set to pass through right now to the energy that's coming into this coach. All of that is controlled through these boxes here. So that's what we're looking at as far as upgrades to this coach. So going down the road, you don't want to listen to a generator, this is the coach for you. If you're somebody that really just likes to push the envelope with electronics and see what can be done, this is the coach for you. Instead of doing it yourself, you can get it at a discounted price, and the work has been done for you. MasterTech is a company that if you had questions, they would gladly walk you through. They did the upgrades to this coach. They're in Elkhart, Indiana. They would gladly talk to you and show you anything extra you need to know, because honestly, some of this coach is over my head. I'm pretty good with RV electronics, but this one takes the cake when it comes right down to it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope I hit on all. Oh, I forgot. I know the previous owner's going down. This coach also has upgraded headlights on it. I knew there was something I was forgetting up front. The headlights have been upgraded to an LED headlight, and that's not just putting an LED bulb in. The whole light has been reconfigured to be LED. He told me they were amazingly bright. Anybody that's ever driven a motorhome at night, usually the headlights are not great. They're not quite up to automotive standards that we're used to. So people hate driving their motorhomes at night. This coach, he said, it's as good as his Mercedes. The vision is tremendous out front. I haven't personally driven it, so I can't attest to that, but he wouldn't lie to me. So it's ready to go. All the fluids have been changed. It just came from Newmar. MasterTech has been all the way through this. It is ready to have your own little nuclear substation in your front yard if you want. Please give me a call. My name is Chris Anderson. I'm with Mount Comfort RV. I look forward to speaking with you.